There we go. Okay, I was muted to begin with. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Ryan, and welcome to this edition of Sunday Night Weekly Updates. So, we do have a lot to talk about. We're going to go over the week ahead. We're going to dive into Tuesday's severe threat here in Michigan. And also, we're going to take a peek at the remainder of this month and maybe take a peek into March as well, what we can expect in terms of temperatures, in terms of storm systems, stuff like that. So, we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight. The order we're going to talk about it in, we're going to start with our weekly temperatures, and then we're going to dive into Tuesday in particular. And then I want to focus a little bit on the end of the week as well, because we do have another system we're watching, another warm up coming for later this week. So, first and foremost, your GFS model for your temperatures. Okay. Typical colors here: warmer colors, warmer temperatures; cooler colors, cooler temperatures. All right, this is going to be today's temperatures. We're going to move into Monday. We see Monday right here, right around the same time frame or same range of temperature here: mid 50s for southern Michigan, 40s for the UP and northern Michigan. So a pretty mild day once again here. Watch Tuesday, though. This warm air does not retreat very far south. It hangs around overnight Monday into Tuesday, and that's also going to help fuel the chance of some storms on Tuesday. Tuesday will be the warmest day that we see. Upper 60s likely for a large portion of Michigan, likely going to make a run at 70 towards the Indiana border, especially toward Kalamazoo, Battle Creek. Those areas will probably make a run towards 70 on Tuesday. And then we see that cold front swing through, a blast of cooler air there. We're going to go from 65-ish to 20s in a matter of a couple hours. So Wednesday will be the coldest day of the week. And then Thursday, right back into a more mild pattern. We're going to see probably low 40s, maybe some 30s there as well for Thursday. And then next Friday, or this coming Friday, should I say, we see warm air start building off to our west. It starts hanging around by next weekend into early next week. About 7-8 days out, we start seeing temperatures right back up into the 50s, low 60s, and maybe even touching 70 once again. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we see a really large response here of warm air for next weekend and early next week. And then another cold front comes through. We'll talk about that later in depth in the coming weeks. But right now, your week ahead: Tuesday, precipitation chances, snow if you're in the UP in northern Michigan, rain and storms if you're in the lower peninsula. We'll go over that now. So we do have an SPC severe risk for Tuesday. It's a marginal risk and a slight risk right now. This could change. It will probably likely shift. We will be getting updates 1:30 in the morning tonight. We will have updates on this outlook from the SPC. But right now, the dark green areas are your marginal, which is level 1 out of 5, so your very lowest risk. And that yellow portion, Southwest Michigan, there is your slight risk, level 2 of 5. That is where they think the highest risk right now is. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into some models here and get an idea for timing, hazards, uncertainty, stuff like that. We already posted a forecast on our page a little bit earlier today. We're not going to go over too much different from what we posted, but we'll give you a little more in depth. Okay, so number one uncertainty with this setup is moisture returns. How far north is our moisture going to get? Right now, the models are showing sufficient moisture return into Michigan all through the day on Tuesday. That will spark off our showers and storms. Now, the only uncertainty is we have storms to our south: Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois. That may try to cut our moisture off from reaching Michigan. If that happens, a lower threat then occurs. Makes sense? Okay. Second is how far north and how far east will the instability axis go, the unstable air, and also that coincides with timing uncertainty here. So right now we sort of expect a initial mode of individual cells out in Illinois, probably by late afternoon, early evening on Tuesday. We're going to watch that area close. We expect that to happen. It's going to grow upscale into a linear complex. We call it a QLCS, a squall line for simplification terms. That's going to push east and also north as the evening goes on. How fast that manages to get to Michigan, that's going to really depend on how much instability there's going to be in the area, and it also coincides with moisture as well. We need the moisture, we need the instability here. Right now, there's a couple areas of models that are kind of split. The global models, the long range European and GFS model, are more conservative. And then today, especially this morning and this afternoon runs of the short term models like the HRRR model, the NAM3 model, they're showing a significant increase of moisture and instability. So we're going to dive into both solutions here. I think the overall is going to be kind of like a middle point in between these two. But for right now, let's go ahead and dive into the European model because I think the European model has a better handle than the GFS. So right now, the European model, look at our upper level cape here. Go ahead and move this forward into the Tuesday time frame. So this is going to be Tuesday right here at 1 p.m. We see a surge of instability in the mid levels moving up into Michigan. Okay. We see these blue areas. That's a little bit higher amounts down here in Illinois. This is going to be 1 p.m. Let's move forward 3 hours. This is going to be 4 p.m. We see a little better return here of our instability. And we see it start to build out here in Illinois. Keep an eye on Illinois. That's where the storms are supposed to start. Okay. We move to 7 p.m. We see the area here pretty much all the way through Illinois. Again, this is not surface cape. This is mixed layer, mid-level cape. Okay, so this is a little bit different than what we need for surface instability. We'll get into that a little later. But mixed layer cape here is a good representation of what we could see here in Michigan. And as you can see, as we get toward the 10 p.m. time frame, we see a good return here all the way up toward Mount Pleasant of this mixed layer cape. Okay. This is the European model. It's more conservative. This would be the lower end, okay? If we were to go to the RRFS model, this is going to be an up-and-coming model. It's supposed to replace the HRRR and NAM models in the next couple of years. So we look at this solution of surface-based cape. This is a more aggressive. I think it's too aggressive, okay? We see a regional look here. We see these blues and greens. The greens are equaling 1,000 surface base. This is different. So this is going to be surface-based cape. We see a very strong return Tuesday morning into Michigan, which could spark some showers and storms as early as Tuesday morning, which may pose a hail threat. That is a low chance right now. It's a chance we're kind of monitoring at this time. The real threat that we're watching is Tuesday night. Okay. So as we move through Tuesday, we start seeing these yellow colors develop to our south, Indiana, Illinois, and then it starts pushing north into Michigan. And this is going to be by 6 p.m., we see a good portion of Michigan, over 1,000 joules of surface-based cape. This model showing upwards of 2,000. Now, again, I think this is way too aggressive. I don't think we're going to get to this point of instability, but if we do, it becomes more concerning. I think what's going to happen is kind of a middle point between the European and this model. It's going to be kind of like a middle point, but again, there's still some uncertainty there with how far north that goes. But right now, models are showing a good push of it into southern Michigan. That's our instability. Okay, that's only one ingredient. How about our wind shear? Okay, the European model slows our wind shear arrival down to after 10 p.m. Okay, the short-term models, the RFS, the HRRR, they try and bring our wind shear in appropriate timing to overlap with higher instability levels. So if we were to go to the European solution, we're going to be likely looking at a later in the evening storm threat if this were to materialize. Here's your low-level wind shear. This is going to be at 10 p.m. We see a good push of low-level wind shear into Michigan, 30 knots, more than sufficient. We looked about 25 or 20 to 25 first kilometer shear. This is going to be right around that 30. So it's going to be more than sufficient there. But we go to our upper levels, mid levels, we see the bulk of the wind shear is lagging down here in Indiana. Okay. We don't want to see that if we want severe weather. So there's some concern there as well when that better shear arrives. But if we were to go to the RRFS model and look at that model in particular, we do see a good push of 6 kilometer shear into the area. As we can see here, we're right around the 35 to 45 knot range of mid-level shear that's pushing into Michigan here. More than sufficient. I know this map is kind of hard to read. I understand it's a bunch of colors. It's okay. All I'm saying here is the RFS is more aggressive in terms of arrival of wind shear and also better instability. Overall, I think that the NAM3 model has a good handle on storm evolution. We're going to take a peek at that now. So what we expect to happen is a squall line out in Illinois, like we said before. We're going to run this potential radar through the time frame here. This is Tuesday morning. We see some showers working through. We see a very brief window here for some thunderstorms. Again, low chance. It's possible, though. Tuesday morning. We go through the day on Tuesday. Look out in Illinois here. We start to see development in Illinois. Right about there, we see the squall line take shape out in Iowa. This is going to be at 7 p.m. I think it's a little bit slow, but I think it has a good handle on the solution. We see that push towards Michigan and arrives in Michigan on this model right around midnight. I think it's a little bit too slow, but it is a really good handle on what we could be looking at here. I think we're going to see a good line of storms, just like this model is showing, that's going to push our way, arriving in Southwest and West Michigan first, moving east through the later portions of the evening time frame. So overall hazards, what we're kind of thinking in terms of our outlook is this, okay? Because those storms arrive in Southwest Michigan earliest, that'll have time and also better instability to work with. So the southwest corner of Michigan, in particular, that red and also the orange area here on the map, anywhere from Grand Rapids, Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, Sturgis, Hillsdale, you guys are in the highest risk for all hazards. What I mean by that is hail, wind, and spin up tornadoes, all possible with this. Again, dependent on the proper moisture and instability being present. That's going to be the big if here. So take this with a grain of salt. Everything is based off those two things happening. So keep that in mind when I talk about these threats. Further east you go, the later the timing gets, I think the lower the instability will be, the lower the threat is going to be. Now, there's also something we're kind of watching further east as instability weakens, where the atmosphere may be what we call capped. Now, a cap is basically stable air just above the surface. We see it on our forecast soundings here where this red and green line bumps out there, especially this red line when it crosses over that blue line. That is your atmospheric cap. If that happens, storms will be limited to a mainly hail and lightning threat. When we have that cap, storms cannot become surface-based, and we don't have surface-based storms. Your wind and your wind threat and your tornado threat are very low. That looks to happen further east and further north, which is also why we coincided that yellow area further east and further north. So another thing to watch there is a potential atmospheric cap, but overall that yellow risk is going to be primarily a hail risk. And again, not going to rule out wind and tornadoes in that yellow risk area. We just currently think, based on what we know about these setups and the timing, that the overall threat is going to be a little bit less the further east and further north you go. Now, further north in the UP and northern Michigan, there is some potential for accumulating snow, especially in the UP, 2 to 5 plus, probably going to see upwards of 8 inches, honestly, up there in the UP. It's just going to be a localized type of situation up there as well. But again, behind this cold front, going back to the temperature gradient here, if you run this back to the GFS, the cold front is so sharp, we are going to see a return of some snow showers in the morning on Wednesday. It's not going to accumulate very much at all, if anything at all, in the lower peninsula, but it may be a quick burst of snow that may accumulate on grassy surfaces, but it shouldn't really affect travel. It should melt pretty quickly. So just be prepared for that as well. We're going to have all 4 seasons in one day, or in a 24-hour period, should I say. We're going to be spring-like, summer-like temperatures on Tuesday, and then we're back to winter and snow the next day. So again, not going to last very long at all, but that is what we're kind of looking at for right now. With that being said, that is your severe synopsis. Okay. I'm going to move on now to long term. How does the rest of the month play out? How does March look? We look to long-term pattern forecasting now. Okay. Number one, your temperature anomalies. Basically, the average temperature is taken, inputted into models, and it spits out warm colors if it thinks it's going to be warmer than normal, or cooler colors, the blues and greens on your map, if it's going to be cooler than normal. This is going to be your GEFS extended model. This runs through all the way through March. Now, keep in mind, this changes daily, okay? But keep in mind here, the average temperature for March, roughly 45 degrees, okay? End of March is closer to 55. All right. So as we move through the March timeframe, we see a significant warm up coming, which we looked at the model to start the stream. We see that warm up next week, right around that Sunday timeframe. We're going to be probably close to 70. Once again, the anomaly map here is showing that really well here with these really bright, darker heat colors, so to speak, up here in the Great Lakes state. But as we get past next week, the warmer air sticks around. To keep in mind here, the average is rising through March here. So this model in particular starts eroding that warmer than normal as we get into late March. And this map right here is for March 20th to the 27th. So late March on this model is still trending warm. So likely going to be an above average month for March. Personally, I said it last week, long-term, long-lasting cold and snow, I think winter's gone. I'm not going to say we're not going to see snow, because we're going to see snow on Wednesday and potentially next Sunday as well. But again, we talk about long term, like a week long below 20, teens below zero. No, none of that is on the long term pattern. We could see some snow showers still. Not going to rule out those weaker type of systems, but like I don't see any signal here for winter returning at all. I think we're done with winter. We're going to be right into March. And then as far as our long term, again, the AO, Arctic Oscillation, we like to see it positive above that middle black line there in this chart. That means warmer air is going to be more likely in our area. And then when it dips below, it allows cold air to come in to the United States. We do see it staying pretty much neutral here. So nothing significant in terms of negative AO to support long-lasting cold. So overall, March is trending warm. It's also trending active. We are watching many systems on the extended ensemble models that really it's just like a wave of system after system. So we could be talking multiple chances of maybe some snow further north, but also potential for storms further south. I just don't see winter making a return here for the majority of Michigan. Again, the UP is further north. We'll have to keep an eye out system by system, but overall, long term, I don't see winter making a return. Now, as far as this upcoming winter and upcoming year is concerned, the Arctic or the Enso phase, so to speak, we're in the El Nino going to neutral. The neutral phase supports active severe weather. We're going to be entering that period very soon, if not already. I think we're seeing the effects of El Nino still, but we're going to be entering that neutral pattern very quickly here. But watch what happens out here in the ocean. In particular, down here in the middle, just off the coast of Mexico here. Watch what happens. Watch this blue area start to develop. That is your La Nina. Okay, that is your La Nina starting to build in. This is for July. So by July, we switch to La Nina, but watch how strong this grows, how rapidly this grows. We see a very sharp increase in color there. That is a moderate to strong La Nina. So we're flipping very, very quickly and very, very fast. What does that mean for upcoming summer? Neutral years when the El Nino transitions to a La Nina, there's a neutral phase in the middle and vice versa. Okay, on neutral years, the historical trend for Michigan is an above average severe season. So in short, this upcoming season, we expect it to be very active in terms of severe weather, just based off historical patterns. We also have a good write-up here, in-depth write-up on our page that is pinned. I believe it starts out as what could 2024 storm season look like. Highly suggest reading it if you guys would like to get information on that. So with that being said, that's all I have for you guys in terms of the upcoming week and long term. So I'll look to the comments here in terms of questions, and we'll take some questions here. And again, I'm gonna ask that you guys don't get too specific with your questions just yet. If you guys are in this risk area, I'll bring up the SPC map here again really quickly. If you guys are in the SPC risk, I would say definitely be on alert for definitely at least some hail and wind. But I think that yellow area, the slight risk, has a better chance for some tornado potential there as well. So don't get too specific with your questions. We'll be more specific tomorrow on our live stream. And again, we'll be here live streaming on Tuesday as storms happen. Excuse me. For people, I see a lot of questions already asking if we're going to be added into slight risk or could it be upgraded to enhanced? The answer is yes. Okay. The short-term models yesterday were not even running out to this time frame. Today is the first day that we had these models really starting to hone in on a higher instability solution and higher moisture solution as well. So if that continues into tonight, into tomorrow morning, I would expect SPC to either add an enhanced risk somewhere probably to our south and west, but I would expect them also to expand that slight risk slightly. If you guys remember yesterday's outlook, that slight risk pretty much came all the way up to Mount Pleasant. I would expect something like that to be a similar case again if this continues to trend the way it's going. So yes, it is possible that Michigan could be added into a bigger slight risk area. Maybe Southwest Michigan sneaking into an enhanced risk, but again, I'm not the SPC. They're the experts. They know what they're doing. So we just have to wait and kind of see what happens. All right. Yeah, so good question. Shauna asked about if La Nina would also mean hotter. So the active trend in summertime here in Michigan trends warm and wet for Michigan during La Nina seasons. But if you think about it, it takes about a month or two to get the effects of the Enzo phase to correlate over to affect our weather here. So this winter is likely going to be a strong to moderate La Nina. And historically speaking, that would trend more active for winter season as well here in Michigan. But again, we're getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves there. Assuming that the La Nina does occur, I think it will occur sometime later this year. This winter would probably be a little bit more above average for snowfall for you guys who love winter. But also, I really think that this summer is going to be warm and wet, just like La Nina says. Chance of power outages with the wind potential, definitely some chances for power outages. Wind direction will be out of the south-southwest. Yes, I would expect a wind threat to carry probably as far east as US 127 there. But again, this is initial thoughts. If the RRFS model we looked at earlier does come to fruition, I would expect that to be a little bit further east, expanded there as well. Just because we go back here to our instability model, we see it correlate. If I go ahead and zoom into Michigan, especially, let me find this really quick. Here it is. We zoom into Michigan, especially, we see a good correlation here of surface-based Cape, pretty much the entire southern Michigan, most of central Michigan, all the way up toward the tip top of Michigan there as well. So we'll keep an eye on it. If that solution verifies, we'll probably see a higher risk. But again, I think this is a little bit too aggressive. I think it's going to be a middle point between a conservative and an aggressive model. Where is the wind threat? The highest wind threat right now is going to be in that yellow area. The marginal area in the green will probably see a wind threat, but the highest wind threat will be over in that yellow area for right now. As far as tornado threat goes, I do see some threat with this on a personal standpoint. If we get instability and moisture here, the wind profiles, as long as they line up, everything comes together, there is definitely a chance for tornadoes here, especially the further south and west you go. Portland especially, you're going to be a little bit too far north right now. But again, if that's better aggressive solution with your hold on, I lost my train of thought here. Your Portland area is going to be a little bit too far north of your better instability to the southwest. Yes, we will have chasers out into the region. And also with this system, we'll have live chasing in Michigan as well as radar coverage here in the state. Yes, expect strong winds with that cold front passage. It's a really strong cold front. Livingston County, right now, you're in the lower end of the risk. But again, I think it's going to probably shift a little bit further back east, especially if this aggressive solution continues. Wyoming is going to be right there on that edge of that slight risk right now. But again, you're so close to that risk, I would definitely assume that you would be close, if not adjusted into that higher risk as we head into tomorrow and in tomorrow's outlook. Personally, yeah, there's concern for power outages, especially further south and west. But again, any strong winds with this will have potential to knock out power here. So this would start Tuesday, roughly around 7 p.m. Okay, that's a rough time frame. Again, some things don't line up, so we'll kind of wait and see there. But after 7 p.m. really is going to be the focus for severe weather from southwest to north. Hey, Joel's on here. What's up, Joel?
What's up, y'all?
Yes, Julie. I will probably post in the community, honestly, tonight for a 00Z kind of a watch party, so to speak. I'll be on there watching. I'll post updates for those of you who want to tune in for that. It won't be live, but I'll probably do a little bit comment section like I did last night for those of you who were up last night late.
Are we answering questions?
Yeah, for right now.
Gotcha.
Hillsdale, you're in the slight risk for right now, but again, you're probably going to be adjusted into not a higher risk, but you're probably going to be adjusted further into tonight's outlook. So definitely for those of you asking for your areas, pay attention to the outlooks that are posted on our page and also the SPC. It gets updated tonight right around 1:30 in the morning. We'll have updates on our page first thing in the morning for you guys to look at. So pay attention to future outlooks for sure. It's possible we're going to see a slight risk advancement, especially if that more aggressive solution verifies. But again, I think we're just kind of waiting on trends here. I think the SPC will adjust as necessary. Right now, the trend is a little bit more aggressive in terms of instability. So I would expect them to adjust their forecasts as such. But again, things can change here because we're heading into a new model cycle in about 2 hours. So we're going to have to kind of see how those look before we make assumptions. Bobby, I don't expect there to be a tornado outbreak in Michigan. Illinois, I think, Northwest Indiana, Northeast Illinois probably has the best chance of seeing a couple tornadoes. Again, not going to rule them out here in Michigan, but I think the highest threat for tornadoes would be further to our south and west.
All right. Did you go over the slight chance of a morning thunderstorm on Tuesday?
Briefly.
Okay.
I can pull up the radar here. I have so many tabs open. Hold on. So Tuesday morning, there's a good push of instability into the region, which may spark off some showers and storms as early as Tuesday, right around 6 a.m. or so. Could be right around, give or take an hour or two. But overall, the confidence in that happening is low right now. We're just kind of looking at some models here. We see some passing showers and storms like right here. We see some development as early as this can be 3 a.m. We see a little bit more of a robust cell up there by Lansing, Mount Pleasant, and then into Saginaw Bay there. That's a possibility. We could see some showers and storms Tuesday morning that may pose a hail risk. But again, I think the higher threat for sure is going to be Tuesday evening.
Yeah, marginal or lower for sure on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, we do actually have a map ready to go for that. We just kind of wanted to wait to see more confidence before we posted that. But we could see some large hail with that, but I think it's going to be a pretty low threat, as Joel just mentioned.
Drew asked if the full MSC crew will be on tomorrow evening for one more severe weather update. Probably.
Yeah, I'll be here for sure. Yeah, the HRRR model does show those morning storms as well. It's just going to be a matter of, I think, where it's going to happen, if they happen, should I say. The best tornado risk right now is going to be further to the south and west. In Michigan in particular, I'm going to say over by Kalamazoo, bring back the SPC outlook there, that yellow area, Kalamazoo, South Haven, Benton Harbor, Three Rivers, Coldwater. I would expect you guys to have the highest risk for any tornadoes. But out of state, Illinois definitely looks like the best area for tornadoes.
It would not hurt to have alerts on overnight just in case.
Right.
Especially Tuesday night.
Any more questions, guys? Yes, Will. Going back up here, Will, if you're still watching. The atmosphere will probably have a lot of lightning with it on Tuesday evening. I would expect it to, at least. And that's what we're watching too, Tony. We have the global models, the European and GFS are more conservative with moisture, but also instability. And then the short-term models are coming in very aggressive. So we're going to have to kind of watch that into tonight. And I think that's going to really play a part in what SPC is going to do with the new outlook too as well. So we'll watch that very closely.
I haven't set up my Midland Weather Radio yet. I might have to.
There you go.
I just don't have an extra outlet in my car. The amp went out.
Should I be listening to local news weather updates? I am hearing tornadoes in Southeast Michigan. It's a possibility we could see tornadoes in Southeast Michigan. Right now, it's not a very high threat. Local news, it's probably just putting like a blanket statement out there, all hazards being possible, because that's what SPC did. The SPC went ahead and mentioned hail, wind, and tornadoes being a threat for the entire region. Specific areas in those tornado threats, wind threats, and hail threats. So we'll have a little bit better idea in terms of where they think tornadoes are going to happen tomorrow morning.
And it's nice because it didn't used to be like that. I only had it on day one up until
Right.
about 2 or 3 years ago.
I wish they do it for day 3 too, because we have a lot of people asking, well, what about this? This is pretty broad outlook. Like, yeah, we know, but
That's all we got.
it's all we got for right now. Again, our forecast does not replace or replicate the SPC outlook. This is our personal thoughts on what we're kind of seeing. This is not meant to replace SPC or anything like that. This is just personal opinion, personal thought. So keep that in mind as well. The SPC are the ones who officially forecast this. So we always defer the official forecast to them, but we always will give you our thoughts as well. Hey, Tyler asks, is this an overnight threat or just an evening threat? Right now, it could be a both, depending on where you're at in Michigan. Further south and further west, late evening, probably 7, 9 p.m., maybe a bit after that. The further north and east you go, probably going to be closer toward that 11 p.m. midnight time frame. This is for Tuesday night. Okay, so the graphic you're looking at, Todd, that is the SPC outlook. The yellow area is a slight risk, okay? That is not our outlook. This is from the official government agency. Our thoughts are on this map. The red area is for the highest threat for all hazards. The orange area is for primarily wind and hail risk. And the yellow area is just for a primary hail risk. This is our thoughts, our opinions. It's not meant to match SPC. It's just, again, our opinion.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
It's just to separate the categories, basically.
Right.
We would use blue, but that's for the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes red can be scary, but it's not that scary. Which part of Michigan sees the worst storms in the summer? It depends on the positioning of the low. It can be anywhere during the summer. Even our friends in the UP can get strong storms, especially I think July for them. It's kind of peak season. It's high plains, northern plains, even Canada. Some they get most of their action.
Peak season is June, July, August for Southeast Michigan. It really peaks in June.
I like to, when I'm talking to like people I know, I usually like to say August, September. We have a good late season here, especially in like central Michigan. Especially this past year, August, September was, crazy. We had the 2 weeks, not back to back, but 2 weeks of tornadoes in Michigan, late August. We will likely go live tomorrow night. Yes. Always a large QLCS to finish off the summer. That is definitely true. We get them throughout the year, but late
Seems
summer.
like it.
Yeah.
Flint for Tuesday. Yes, Flint is in the risk. It's a lower risk for right now, but again, you're still in a risk.
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that.
I can hear myself in the background.
Yeah.
No, the lake temperatures are not expected to have an impact on these storms. The only very low chance that may happen with the lakes is sometimes with these systems, when you have a warm front advancing north, they try to pass Lake Erie, Lake Michigan there on the border, and it has a hard time passing it. But right now, not expecting that to happen. It's a very strong low pressure is going to pull a lot of moisture and warm air north, so we should have no problem getting past the lakes. And then the storms are not going to cross Lake Michigan. They're going to be coming from the south and west, so they're not going to cross a cold lake. So the lakes are not expected to have an impact on this setup. Oh, Deborah, we're going to block you. We have a lot of spam bots lately on our page saying, hey, we're going to delete your page if you don't click this link. Yeah, get out of here. I do not know that, Jen. Last time Michigan hit 70 degrees in February. What happened in 2017? That was close, but I don't think it quite made it. I think Joel's going to be I think Joel's looking it up right now. I heard a bunch of typing going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, 2017 it looks like.
Okay, well, there you go. There's your answer. Doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. And that depends on where you are in the state. Like, obviously, that was for Detroit. Central Michigan or northern Michigan could have been a lot longer.
Right. Not expecting that, Rebecca. Morning storms taking away from the later storms. I'm not expecting that to happen. I think the morning storms arrive just before the better instability gets pushed up into the area. So an atmospheric recovery is likely.
Out of curiosity, could check out the cloud cover map on the models.
We can, although I'll give a little bit of a personal opinion there. I don't think the sun's going to matter too much with the sun angle.
Probably not, yeah.
And also with that jet carrying moisture up from the south, I don't think the sun will be a factor, whether it comes out or not. We can take a peek at that, though.
Yeah.
The NAM model. There we go.
And for those who are asking about being on the line and whatnot, basically you're just in between both. So it could be either, like, for example, they break it down into percentages. So the marginal risk is a 5% chance of severe within 25 miles of your point. And then the slight risk equivalates to 15% chance, at least on day 3, 15% chance of severe within 25 miles of a point. So basically, if you're on the line, it could be either.
For your cloud cover map, it's complete cloud cover.
Right on. Atmosphere will be very moist for sure, at least in the lower levels.
And the GEM model is a little bit. The GEM is a little bit more conservative, more conservative with the clouds.
Does the wrap have it or no? Probably not.
I don't see cloud cover on here.
Because that 21Z model that we're looking at, 72, potentially 72 in Grand Rapids. That's crazy. It's just out of their mind.
Going back to that.
Yeah, very confident in at least 60 degrees on Tuesday, but 70, kind of pushing it, especially if we're going to have a lot of cloud cover.
Yeah, there you go. We have some 71, 72 down there in Southwest. So if that verifies, there you go. Yeah, Joey, we explained the cap a little bit ago. The cap could become a concern there. Now, what a cap does, going back on, where is it? There it is. Where this red line over here crosses that blue line, that is your atmospheric cap of stable air that's going to prevent storms from becoming surface-based. I think Joel can explain a bit better than that, but if that happens, it'll probably limit overall storm potential and storm severity to mainly a hail risk.
Storms can be elevated above that inversion, but elevated storms are not fun. Well, at least not severe. That's what I mean by fun. But
hail severe maybe, but wind and tornadic, no. They're usually really good structure storms, typically. Whoops, I exited out the SPC. My bad.
Once I get through my meso class, I haven't gotten a meso yet, so that's where a lot of my knowledge on HODOs and SCUTs will come in. But that's in the fall for me. So after this fall, I'll have a lot more in-depth knowledge about that. So we're not perfect here, but we strive.
We try our best.
Yeah, we strive. We try our best.
Did we get lucky and miss an ice storm? That's a great question. Usually we have an ice storm at the end of winter there, but I'm not going to speak for like mid-March, but the first couple weeks or say the first week of March, we're going to be in the 70s. There ain't no chance of an ice storm then. After that, it's fair game, but I don't think we're going to see an ice storm this year. Just a bold prediction.
Hello, Canada. Leslie's watching from Ontario. My dad asked if he can wear shorts to work.
Yes, you can. Is it too early for predictions on the 5th? Yes, it is. Although the likely answer to that would be yes, it's going to be warm. Probably going to have some type of precipitation chance, maybe some storm chances, but it's too far out to really get specific. Just keep an eye on it. But again, it's going to be pretty warm for the upcoming week, minus the cool down on Wednesday.
Be disappointed I'm not here for that. Jorts would be best. Jean shorts? That's a throwback.
Yeah, it is. Four seasons in one day. Yes, you are correct, Freedom.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
That was my neighbor. Apologies.
Oh, man.
I must be playing some video game over there, and these walls are really thin.
Hey, Karen. So the overall summary of what we're kind of watching is a big warm-up for Monday and Tuesday, especially Tuesday. And then this cold front we see on this model, we can kind of see the cold front out here out to the west, pushes into the area. It sparks off some showers and storms. Uncertainty exists in terms of instability and moisture. Lately, it's been trending more aggressive, so it raises our concern just a bit. Overall synopsis, though, I think the southern portion of Michigan and the further southwest corner of Michigan has the highest risk for now. That will probably be adjusted as we get into tomorrow, and also we have two updates tomorrow, right? We have one at 1:30 in the morning, one at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yes, on day 2 they get a midday or morning midday.
So we'll have two new outlooks between now and the next live stream to go over. But overall, your hazards probably going to be wind and hail primarily. Not going to rule out tornadoes just yet, but we'll have to kind of play that by ear. Yes, the slight risk may expand further east, and it may expand further north as well. And then, Karen, for the later part of the week, we're going to cool down Wednesday. May see some snow showers for a big portion of the state, but only accumulating in the UP and maybe far north Michigan. But other than that, we're going to be warming back up into the weekend for next weekend, and then another cold front comes through probably right around that Sunday, Monday time frame.
Radar scope.
Yes.
For Bridget, who's asking.
Hands down, radar scope.
It's very straightforward.
If they do issue an enhanced risk, it will likely be out to our south and west initially. It may try to encompass southwest Michigan, but I just don't know yet. It'll probably be out in Illinois and maybe portions of West Indiana as well if they do introduce an enhanced risk.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
In here.
Any other questions? You guys are too funny. Are you guys related? Diane, Julie, you have the same last name.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just noticed that. Two of the funniest people in chat right now have the same last name.
They're two of the most loyal followers too. All right, guys. We're probably going to hop off here, though. Again, recapping just a severe risk for Tuesday. It's a main focus. Then a cool down for Wednesday. A warm up back into the weekend. We'll have more updates. We do have a forecast posted on our page for Tuesday. So if you guys want more details in a text form, we do have that up on the page. We'll be live probably once again here right around 7 o'clock again, probably 7 o'clock, give or take a half hour or so. We'll probably schedule it here in advance tonight. But overall, that's all I got for you guys. Joel, have anything else?
Not really. If you guys watch on Facebook, we do have a YouTube channel. Maybe not for you, but if you have people like just family, friends, other people that don't have access to Facebook easily, YouTube is a great place to watch it for free. You don't have to set up an account. You can watch it on any device as well. So it's just one way to watch our severe weather coverage on Tuesday. And we also have it on X now as well. So
there you go. All right. With that being said, guys, I think we're going to hop off here. So we'll see you guys probably tomorrow night.
Peace out, everybody.
See ya.